A single Mediterranean diet meal plan, followed consistently, was the focus of the largest clinical trial ever run on a way of eating. And most people are still following the wrong version of it. For 8 consecutive years, from 2018 through 2025, U.S. News & World Report has ranked the Mediterranean diet the #1 best overall diet on Earth. The panel behind that ranking includes physicians, registered dietitians, and epidemiologists from institutions like Johns Hopkins, Tufts, and the National Institutes of Health. What you're about to see is not a vague philosophy about eating more salad. It's a concrete, day-by-day framework built directly from the clinical protocols that generated those results, broken down meal by meal so you can start this week. In 2013, the New England Journal of Medicine published the Pre-Dimed Trial, the largest randomized controlled study ever conducted on a dietary pattern. Researchers across 11 Spanish hospitals enrolled 7,447 adults at high cardiovascular risk and tracked them for nearly 5 years. One group followed a Mediterranean diet built around extra virgin olive oil, and researchers tracked their health for years against a control group. This wasn't an observational survey or a food questionnaire. It was a prospective, multi-center clinical trial, the gold standard in nutrition science. Earlier work, like the Lion Diet Heart Study published in The Lancet, helped make the Mediterranean pattern one of the most rigorously studied diets in modern medicine. The evidence base isn't ambiguous. It's overwhelming. Forget the food pyramid for a moment. The Mediterranean plate follows a specific architecture. Roughly 40 to 45% of daily calories come from carbohydrates, almost entirely from whole grains, legumes, fruits, and vegetables. 35 to 40% comes from fat, dominated by monounsaturated fats from olive oil and nuts, not butter or processed oils. Protein accounts for 15 to 20%, sourced primarily from fish, legumes, and poultry, with red meat appearing only a few times per month. The pre-dimed protocol specified roughly 4 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil daily, about 50 milliliters. Participants ate at least 3 servings of nuts per week, roughly 30 grams per serving. Vegetables hit a minimum of 2 servings per meal. This isn't intuitive eating. It's a defined clinical framework with measurable ratios. Mediterranean breakfasts look nothing like American cereal culture. A typical weekday morning starts with whole grain bread drizzled with extra virgin olive oil and topped with sliced tomato and a pinch of sea salt, a staple called pan con tomate across Spain. On alternate days, Greek yogurt with a handful of walnuts and raw honey delivers roughly 14 grams of protein and 8 grams of monounsaturated fat before you leave the house. Weekends open room for shakshuka, eggs poached in a sauce of tomatoes, peppers, onion, and cumin, a dish that checks nearly every box on the Mediterranean framework in a single skillet. The key principle: breakfast always contains olive oil or nuts, a whole grain or legume, and at least 1 serving of produce. No processed cereal. No seed oil-laden granola bars. Whole ingredients assembled in under 10 minutes. Lunch in the Mediterranean tradition is the largest meal of the day, not dinner. A core rotation includes 3 anchors. First, a lentil soup. 1 cup of cooked lentils provides 18 grams of protein and 15 grams of fiber, nearly 60% of the daily recommended intake. Second, a grain bowl built on farro or bulgur wheat, layered with roasted vegetables, chickpeas, feta, and a generous olive oil dressing. Third, a classic Greek salad with cucumber, tomato, red onion, Kalamata olives, and a 4-tablespoon olive oil vinaigrette, paired with whole grain pita and hummus. The pre-dimed protocol called for at least 3 legume servings per week. This lunch rotation alone hits that target by Wednesday. Each meal stays between 400 and 550 calories, keeps sodium under 600 milligrams, and takes no more than 20 minutes to prepare from whole ingredients. The American Heart Association recommends at least 2 servings of fatty fish per week, and the Mediterranean pattern exceeds that. Dinner rotations anchor on 3 proteins: baked salmon, with roasted Mediterranean vegetables on Mondays and Thursdays, grilled chicken thighs marinated in lemon, garlic, and oregano on Tuesdays, and a white bean and vegetable stew on Wednesdays and Fridays. Weekends flex for social meals. A single 4-ounce salmon fillet delivers roughly 2,000 milligrams of combined EPA and DHA omega-3 fatty acids, the level of omega-3 intake studied in the GLIS trial. Red meat appears no more than twice per month. When it does, it's a small portion, 3 ounces, alongside a massive vegetable spread. Dinner portions stay moderate, around 500 calories, because the Mediterranean model front-loads nutrition into lunch. The evening meal is meant to sustain, not stuff. The spaces between meals matter. Mediterranean snacking centers on a small handful of raw almonds, about 23 nuts or 28 grams, delivering 6 grams of protein, 3.5 grams of fiber, and predominantly oleic acid, the same monounsaturated fat in olive oil. Fresh fruit is the default dessert, not an afterthought. A medium orange, a few dried figs, or seasonal berries close nearly every meal. On beverages, water is primary. Coffee and tea are consumed freely across Mediterranean cultures. Wine is optional and moderate, 1 5-ounce glass per day for women, up to 2 for men, exclusively with meals, never alone. The pre-dimed protocol explicitly allowed moderate red wine but did not require it. What's excluded matters equally. No sugar-sweetened beverages, no ultra-processed snacks, no refined seed oils. These aren't suggestions. In the clinical trials, adherence to these exclusions predicted outcomes. Here's how to start without overthinking it. Week 1 has 3 non-negotiable shifts. First, replace every cooking fat in your kitchen with extra virgin olive oil, butter, canola, vegetable oil, all of it. The pre-dimed intervention started with exactly this step. Second, eat legumes at least 3 times this week. Lentil soup, chickpea salad, white bean stew. Pick 3 and schedule them. Third, buy 2 portions of fatty fish and cook them on specific days you choose now before the week begins. Don't overhaul everything at once. Research from the University of Eastern Finland, published in 2021, found that even small, incremental improvements in Mediterranean diet adherence, just 2 points on the 14-point adherence screener, were associated with measurably better long-term health. Small precision beats dramatic overhaul. Start with 3 changes. Measure in months, not days.